Well, into April, and we've still got 2 routes into Europe with Distillery this year. We're virtually guaranteed a top 3 finish. It's just whether it's us or Larn nick the second place. And today, we start off with an Irish Cup semi-final as we try to defend our crown and make it into Europe yet again. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 68 of this Build a Nation story, Lifting Spirits with me, Daniel. We are back today for the first game following the league split at home to Cliftonville, who are now up in 4th place. But first, it is the Northern Irish Cup semi-final. We're still trying to defend our crown, and we're off to Windsor Park to face Glentoran, who have had an absolutely shocking year in the league. They've changed manager, they've picked up a little bit now. But if you're looking forward to seeing how we get on, whether we can make a second cup final of the season and back-to-back finals in a big competition, then please do put a thumbs up on it. We've of course got youth intake news as well, and there is a lot for us to be excited about. Unless things go terribly wrong in the next few weeks, it will be second place in the league this season. Larn have had a poor year, but we've managed to sneak above them. It's just Linfield we've got to try and catch in the future. But let's start by having a look at the schedule and seeing what's happened since you were last with me. Because of course we showed 2 cup games last time. Coleraine in the Irish Cup, we were brilliant. And Larn in the League Cup final, a very solid defensive effort. Since then, 5 games, all victories. We've been in fabulous form. But the 5 wins started with a 1-0 at Crusaders. Jonathan McElhatton with a late goal there. A 2-0 win at home to Dungannon. Poate and Griffiths with first half goals. The same score in the Irish Cup quarter-final. Cameron Cooper got a brace for a rotated team. Also missed a penalty in that game as well. Against Linfield, a 1-0 victory at home. An absolutely brilliant result, but they've had a big backlog of fixtures. Maybe that's something we can take advantage of next year. If they get to the European group stages and we can improve a bit again, maybe we'll give them a run purely on the fact they're playing 3 or 4 games a week. Against Carrick, we won 3-1. McElhatton with 2 and Archie Whitehall. We go into the league split in fabulous form, but we have had a pretty good run of league fixtures. Now we play all the top sides again. But the big one for me now, with second almost wrapped up, with a trophy in the bag this year, with us really showing we can compete with the top sides for the first time, is about securing Europe, which we've virtually done, and trying to get the Irish Cup in our belt again. It's all about lifting trophies now, trying to show that we are a dominant force, just behind Linfield perhaps for the big one. So let's get through to the fixtures. We will go via the youth intake just so you can see what's been going on. Because the simple case is, it's not that great. There's a couple of decent players, but again, no real standouts. Philip Baxter is one who's got low determination, 2-footed winger, but not great. Ryan Lynch as a striker, good finisher, decent mentally and off the ball, but not got the pace, not really got the physical attributes. And Graham Murray as a right back and right winger, can't tackle, can't really cross, and he's pretty average in terms of physicality. So I don't think there's a standout there yet. What I am excited about is what's to come in the next couple of years, because this side we're building is starting to show signs that it's going to the next level. We've got most of them tied down contractually. We're starting to increase the reputation of the club. And if we can have a couple of years in Europe, if we can build it up a bit further and go pro, things will start to look very good for us. 8,000 tickets sold for Windsor Park today. What that means with the finances being split is that we're going to edge up towards turning professional territory. We asked once at the start of the season, we got turned down. But if we can push it up towards that million point, I'm going to ask again. So let's see what the outcome of today is, whether we can get to the final and get another big payday there. If we do, I think we've got to start looking upwards, because if we can go pro this summer, it does put us a little ahead of schedule. Let's get through to the team selection though, have a look at what we can do today. We've got some good players in this squad. We know virtually what our first 11 is now, and due to the way the league splits over that international break, we have had a couple of weeks off. So we're going to go and tweak this squad, just make sure it's what we want it to be. I'm pretty sure it is already. We'll be back in a minute to run through the 11. Well, quite simply it is. This is our first 11 now. There's a few players that maybe feel hard done by that are close, but we know what our best squad is. We've also got some real interesting news further down as well. I'm looking at someone like Mark Wilson, who we've kept involved, who's a very good player at this level, could easily start and be as good as McElhatton. he is wanted by today's opponents, Glentoran. And that's the sort of deal I'm looking at now. Can we make the other sides in the nation stronger without weakening our squad? And if we can do that, we've seen he can score goals whenever he plays. I'll be really impressed with this nation. The AI is looking better in the transfer market. They're getting better players in. And I'm not going to be averse at this stage at selling fringe reserve players to the clubs in the further down area of this division. So hopefully that will come off in the coming weeks. But for now, this is the 11 for the Irish Cup semi-final. It is Neil Kane in goal, who is an established superstar now. We got Wilson and Bell the fullbacks with McClelland and Cooper as centre-half. Whitehall and Daniels in midfield. And I think that shows how far we've come, because the likes of Bell and Whitehall are now only 3-star ability in this team. And Whitehall is a very good League 2, maybe even a League 1 player. And Pardee, Farmer and Griffiths the attacking midfield 3. Morgan Griffiths just keeps improving. Farmer, absolute star. And Jonathan McElhatton, 40 goals for the season again. 36 of those in the league. He's made 1 sub-appearance in this competition, and he is yet to score. It's the first time we've really put our full 11 out in this competition this year. Can it deliver? Well, let's go and find out. Glentoran versus Distillery, replacing the Irish Cup final. Can we continue our defence of our crown? Well, here are the teams for today's game. It is a good Glentoran side, but as we've mentioned, with probably the 2 or 3 that have drifted, where Larne, where Linfield, they've sort of regenerated their squad a bit. Coleraine Glentoran, not so much due to being semi-pro. So they've got a few older players in the squad. They have still got the best young striker in the country in Andrew Bell, but the defence is ageing, and to be fair, there's not a huge amount behind it at the minute. So with 3 changes made for them, we're going to ask the lads to pick up where they left off. We're going to get through the tunnel interview into a, well, half-full Windsor Park. Glentoran fans will still be the dominant ones here. They're playing 4-4-2. They're going for it. You've got to give them credit. But for us, we're starting to build our club, and I want to get our reputation to the next level. Back-to-back Irish Cups can do that. And don't forget, whilst we're probably going to get second, it does also guarantee Europe. Let's skip through here into the first half. How are we going to get on at Windsor Park? Well, I can only apologise. I know we've not conceded many in recent weeks, but still, this has been an awful game. We've not had the attacking quality, and I know a lot of our goals do often come late on in games, but this has been a poor one. As McElhatton in the first highlight with 5 minutes to the break, gives it to the left-back Bell. It's a good ball to Morgan Griffiths, finds McElhatton in acres of space, and this is something we've become really good at. The shorter passing, bringing the striker across, the number 10 making a run in behind, just gives us that little overload on one side between a fullback and centre-half. And when a team's playing a back 4, it's really easy to break down. Jonathan McElhatton, yet again the goal scorer. His first Irish Cup one this year. Morgan Griffiths and Curtis Bell deserve most of the credit. And it's another one of those, isn't it? We talked about it against Larne in the Irish League Cup final. We've talked about it in a lot of the big episodes. It happened against Linfield in that game a few weeks ago. We've been really disciplined. We don't give up many chances, and we're just efficient. I kind of liken us to Jose Mourinho's Chelsea back in the mid-2000s, where you almost guaranteed a 1 or 2-0 win against most sides outside the top 2 or 3. And this is sort of what we've become. We're not really stretching it out much. We don't get many 3s, 4s or 5s. We just win by a couple of goals. We look convincing. We look confident. We don't really look like conceding many goals. With 1 shot on target, we take the lead. Linfield look like they're on the way to the final 2. They went 3-0 up early on against Warren Point in the other semi. Warren Point have now got 2 back, which is remarkable. With 25 minutes to go, I think we can look at changes. Linfield have got a 4th. It will be what is now possibly Northern Ireland's Big 2 in the final. Can I say that yet? Because, let's be fair, Larne have been second every other year. We maybe need to prove it a little bit more. We're going to replace the wingers, Puarte on the right for Pardee, and Varma off on the left for Lewis Scott. I'm also looking further back at Whitehall, who's had an average game. I'll bring on Barry Bagley for him. Curtis Bell off for Michael Hammond. He deserves a better rating than he's got. And we'll save the last one just in case of an injury or something like that. But 25 to go, 4 changes made. And the beauty of it now is it doesn't really weaken our team, which shows how far we've come. Though Sean Daniels gives the ball away there. In the holding midfield, we're still only 1 up. He does so well to win it back though. Look at that spirit. Up to McElhatton and wide to Puarte the sub. Can he use his fresh legs to get in behind? He does. Beats 2. Goes through 1-on-1. Brilliant goal to Mindu Puarte. There are not many teams in the league that have a sub like that. And that is the difference at the moment. Fair play to Sean Daniels, lost the ball, worked really hard. He can have a rest now for Robert Burns. With 15 minutes to go, we've shown all of our class. It's 2-0 to Lisburn Distillery. Probably our stats aren't as good as they normally are. Look at this season, we've not had as many shots per game, we've not had as many shots per target, even as much possession at times. But we're doing our job so efficiently as Griffiths find Bagley. This is where we're normally dominant. Late on in the match, we bring on good substitutes, which we've never really had before this year, and we're able to take it to the next level against tiring teams. Charles has it at the back for Glentoran. Almost looks like they're time wasting. Are they happy with 2? The long ball forward only finds Hammond. He gives it to McClelland. Wide to Callum Wilson on the right-hand side, and Puarte. What a difference he's made off the bench. And again, a bit like Mpardi, slow first half of his first season. Then he's come good. This time he sets up the goal. It's a teasing cross into the corridor between the defender and the keeper. And who's there in the gap? It's Jonathan McElhatton. Pokes it in for 3-0. It's a brilliant performance. It's another classic cup display. And we are going to the final. Linfield v Distillery. Can we finally start to close the gap on that one remaining side? Well, I think that might be tricky as McClellan heads away across. Puarte brings it away. Deflection on his clearance. Lewis Scott will chase it. Ferris on the right, though. Don't give away the clean sheet. What are you doing, Hammonds? Why would you do that? We've got to try and get him back permanently because he's going to become homegrown at the club and nation. But here he's cost us the clean sheet, I think. Kane up in goal. Can't quite save it. McMenamin puts it in for 3-1. It's still a very comfortable win, but I'm a little annoyed we've conceded. Glentoran get a consolation, but we will be in the final and we've got a chance to put some gloss on it. Puarte takes a free kick from the right. Where on earth was the Glentoran defence? We had 3 players unmarked at the back post there. Did you see that? It was so strange. There was nobody there. I'm going to have to show this again. If we go back and have a look at this free kick, when it comes in, there we go. 3 players unmarked. They've got 4 in the wall. 4 there marking 3. So 3 on 3 and then a near post. No one back. It's like they've left 2 forward just to try and get an attacking advantage. But so bizarre. Hammond makes up for it in fairness. He gets up. McClelland in the end awarded the final touch. It's a 4-1 win. It's a stunning effort. And it's going to be the big final you all wanted to see. We know what the next episode's going to be, don't we? For now, though, let's try and wrap up second in the league. We'll be back in a moment to host Cliftonville. We're back to league action for the first time in, 2 episodes in this series, really. But we've not got Colin McCann back fit. Everyone else should be there. It is interesting, actually. We've now got most of our backup team playing in the sort of intermediate cup and the Steel and Sons Cup, which we were playing in when we were a 3rd tier side. And they're battering the opposition. We've got such strength in depth. Here, we're at home to Cliftonville. And again, it's probably worked out pretty luckily, to be honest, because of the 5 teams in the top half this year, Linfield and Cliftonville have the biggest away followings, and they're the 2 that will be visiting us. So I'm really pleased with that. Linfield in the final, even though it's harder to win, gives us a lot more money into the club. And if by the end of this year we can get above that 800k, I'm going to try my best to go pro again. For now, though, we've got to do the job on the pitch. Let's wrap up second. You can see 1,500 in, so well over 1,000 away fans. Let's see if the same 11 can go out. I think it can, as can the same 18. So I'm not going to change a thing. Most of those, as you can see on the bench, played for the reserves in midweek. They won 5-1 in the Intermediate Cup. But it's exactly the same 11 to face Cliftonville. And if they play as they did in that cup match, I'm going to be a very happy man. Let's go and submit the team into it. Incidentally, Michael Hammond out of contract the end of the calendar year. So at the end of June, we can offer him a contract. What we do before then, I'm not too sure. Let's go and get to the match. A big home game. And with us only having 2 after the league split, and one of them being Linfield, this game's probably the most important in wrapping up second. So let's go and get through the team instructions. And let's go and talk to the lads as well. I want you to pick up where you left off. You were brilliant in the cup. I'll take another 4-1 win. But either way, as long as we get 3 points, and maybe if Larne drop points, I'll be very happy with today's outcomes. We're just having a look at the other fixtures as we're back in the first minute. Larne are playing against Crusaders, and you've got to say here actually, it does look like in that stand we're staring at now, there are a few more home fans than normal as Griffiths chips it into McElhatton. Oh, it's a lovely dink, but was he onside? I think he was. That is a wonderful goal. Morgan Griffiths is becoming the star of this team. You mentioned it a few years ago in the comments, and you probably deserve more credit than you get. You talked about Andrew Jarvis and Barry Coffey not having that real go-ahead, get you 1,000 assists a season team. And to be fair, with Griffiths and Daniels, we've got that now. They're guaranteed 20, 25 assists between them. And it just adds goals in, as well as getting the crosses, as well as getting the long balls into Hatton, as well as having set pieces. We've now got a real genuine threat through the middle. It caused the first goal against Glentoran. It's caused the goal here. And at half-time, in what has been another pretty average game, we've not conceded a shot on target, and we are 1-0 up. Interestingly, Linfield were losing, albeit the title is a bit too far away now. But Larne winning as well. They're keeping the pace on, but a victory here would be great for us. Let's get the league table up so we can see what's happening. Larne 6 points behind with 4 games to go. You still feel our game against them could be crucial. But what will Linfield do as Bell gets in at left back? Finds Jake Cooper. Big experienced addition this year, has been brilliant. Hatton nicks it, gets in behind. Good save by the keeper's feet. Really good goalkeeping that. And he's out for a corner kick. We'll look at changes in a minute. Let's see what we can do first with Daniels. We have got a game in midweek, so if we can get 2 up, I'll take a few of the tired legs off. Daniels crosses in, McClellan's up. Headed up more than away. It's a throw-in. The danger's still coming. The away end is packed there, to be fair to Cliftonville. But they've not had a shot on target to cheer about. It's a free kick on the right with Sean Daniels. We've been good from these. Does look like Cliftonville have actually got players back, though. They don't win the header, though, as it's away to Griffiths on the volley. Goes wide to Daniels. I thought he's going to shoot. Gets to the edge. Daniels does. Oh, that's sublime. What a curling effort that was. Didn't even go for height in the top corner. Just whipped it at speed into the side netting. Goalkeeper no chance. 2-0 up. And now we can rest players for midweek. 25 to go. Let's go and make the subs. Here we go then. 5 changes made as Wilson and Bell the fullbacks, the 2 centre mids and Varma the left winger all get a rest. On come Jones, Hammond, Bagley, Burns and Puarte off the left wing. We've got 25 minutes to go. We're 2-0 up. The other results are looking interesting with Linfield losing as well. Colray making a late dash for the European places. But here we are again on the attack with Mpardi. Barry Bagley picks it up in midfield to Jones. He's been unlucky to drop out of the team, but it's a first season for him as a young player and he is still improving off the pitch. Here he is again to Jake Cooper. Chance to play into midfield. We're so confident in possession, keeping the tempo down, making them chase us as Bagley goes through. It's a poor ball. McDade will get it away for the visitors. He can play left to Ives, who's not been sent off yet. He's just on a yellow for this game. McKee knocks it down for Hale. Is there a comeback on? Into Chris McKee. There's a reason we wanted to sign him 2 years ago, because we knew he had the potential to be a goal scorer. And at 2-1, he's put a little bit of doubt into this game. Let's just make sure we praise the lads, keep them on board. But there is a little bit of concern, I won't lie about that. As Robert Burns into Bagley, it's not the best ball. He does well with it in the end. To Jones and McClelland. Out wide to Mpardi. We could do with a 3rd goal here. Here's McClelland again at right back. Inside to Burns. Look for that through ball. You can find it. Short to Bagley again. No one wants to play that forward pass. Mpardi to McClelland. Mpardi again. We're keeping possession. We're going nowhere though. Give me the goal. We need to win this game. Burns going backwards. Not the time for flicks and tricks. Bagley to Mpardi. Back to McClelland again. How many times are we going to see the same ball? Jones in the end, aimlessly forward, but the header away is poor. Bagley's missed it. Now McDade's on the counter. This is becoming a concern here. Have we got too complacent at 2-0? It's not something that happens often, but here it's a worry. Berry gets in. Oh, not again. 2 games in a row, Michael Hammond. What are you doing, man? You're not even aggressive. You don't dive into tackles. Where has this come from? And from 2-0 up and looking confident, we are now seeing why we're not quite up with Linfield. The gap with Larne will be reduced to 4 because Hale has equalised. It's an awful 10 minutes. It is Distillery 2, Cliftonville 2. And we were so worried about midweek that we've forgotten about this game. I'm going to berate the players because they've been awful the last 10. And we now need a response. We're going positive. We're trying to find that front-footed goal. Linfield have equalised as well. Larne have got a 3rd. We could yet end up dropping down a bit as it's into Hale. It could be 3-2 here. At least keep the unbeaten run going, will you? 5 minutes added on and there's only one team who looks like scoring. I might go all out attack, just try and save the day. As Burns to Bagley, clearance is long, but Hatton was back helping out defensively. There's no one there. We've gone attacking. We're trying to push. We've encouraged the lads, but it's a 2-2 draw. In the end, probably happy to get out with a point. Don't think a game's won at 2-0 because it certainly isn't. We were unlucky, we played well overall. But those changes, my words, they made a difference. Let's go and get through to the schedule, see when we're going to be back. Maybe we're still alright for second place, but Larne are trying to make it interesting. The gap is 4, Linfield won again late on, so the title is officially gone. I think we all knew that anyway. And Larne have made it a very close race for second. We could end up back in third yet, but let's go and have a look at when that Irish Cup final is, because I think that's going to be the star of the show next time. Well, there it is. The final episode of the season will be Coleraine away on the final day as we look to wrap up second, and Linfield in the Irish Cup final at Windsor Park, followed by a request to go professional. We'll see if the magic can happen this summer. If you want to find out if it does and you did enjoy this episode, please do put a thumbs up on it. Let me know what you thought of the youth intake. Do you think we'll get accepted to go pro, or do we need that magic 7 figures in the bank? And what did you think of the 2 performances? Complacency against Cliftonville is not a good look, but I can't see that happening the rest of this year. If you want to stay up to date and find out if it catches us out, then subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back in a couple of days' time for the Irish Cup final. In the meantime, the latest episode of The Head Coach is going to be absolutely massive as we head to deadline day at our new club. You can find the last couple of episodes up in the eye above. There's also links to the Twitch channel, the new blog, and the football podcast too. But I'll see you back here in 2 days' time as we try to defend the Irish Cup and fingers crossed turn pro with Distillery.